Today, I'm going to share with you a live use case from one of my past clients that built out their own Monday vibe to solve specific problems that they had within Monday.com. So let's jump in to see how this company built out the Monday vibe, and they're using it on a daily basis to solve specific pain points that they had within Monday. So Chelsea, thank you so much for joining with us. And maybe just start with a little introduction about who you are and what your role is, and what kind of pain points you saw within Monday that you were looking to solve.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Dalby. I am the Director of Integration and Operational Strategy for an outpatient healthcare company. Over the last couple of years, we've expanded through several mergers and acquisitions. So my job is constantly evolving and staying on the forefront of whatever project it is we're trying to accomplish for a given time period. I would say that there were a number of pain points that we wanted to solve for with Monday Vibe, and I was really excited to see that the feature was released. I found it on accident because I was trying to find a cool way to modify a dashboard, and then I clicked down a screen and saw, oh, build your vibe. And I'm like, well, I don't know what that is, but I guess I should do it. And I would say that some of the issues we were running into before we found the vibe were just a lack of predictability and timeline confidence around our projects. So we had these big project boards, but we didn't know whether or not we were going to complete on a specific date. We would see our dashboards of like, oh, we have 80% completion, but that didn't really mean a whole lot. Like you can kind of estimate that you're 80% of the way through, but it was really challenging to know if we were really on track or not. We also had quite a few reporting challenges in general. So I would say that our dashboards were robust, but weren't widely adopted because of the interface challenges. Not that they're super difficult, because I would say I thoroughly enjoy them, but I would say that the process to learn to use them took a little bit of time. And so for us, as we're constantly rolling out new systems and process updates and modifications, we need to be able to like send out an email quickly and say, hey, we've got an updated dashboard. Here's a quick video of how you use it. And we need people to be able to jump in right away. And I think that those were some of the issues that we wanted to solve with this vibe. And I would say that the last problem that's more systemic is we wanted to be able to look at scale, like what are the problems that are keeping us from being able to move forward on a consistent basis. So if we're going to be consistently evolving and doing system changes at multiple different centers as we acquire new centers, how do we make sure we're not creating the same problem every time, like that we're not running into the same bottlenecks? So those were some of the problems we looked to solve with this specific build out.
Those sounds like pretty core problems that I know it's specific for your use case, but a lot of companies that are just managing projects, have these similar type, it's kind of universal basically.
Right.
Okay.
I definitely think it's something that, I carried with me from previous companies, but you just kind of do the best you can. You put together a dashboard and cross your fingers and hope you accomplish your goals on time.
Right. Yes. Okay. So let's see that vibe that you built.
So this is the vibe that I developed for our specific problems we wanted to solve. And as you can see here, when the end user lands on this overview tab, immediately we have a list of all of our new centers. So we wanted to use this vibe specifically to look at different Monday boards that we're using to determine whether or not our new centers are slated to launch on time. So we solved our first problem, our lack of predictability and timeline confidence, by basically taking all the data from all of the boards we had already developed for these specific center launches, and then aggregating the data, having it pull up into here. And then now we've developed a tool of velocity that shows us whether or not we're on or off track. So what I'll show you here, if we scroll down, you can kind of see it's determining whether or not we're on or off track. And again, this is something that we're right at the beginning stages of, so there's not as much data in here as there will be. But you can see here, if you scroll over the item, you'll see that we're ahead of schedule for this one because the current velocity is 13 tasks per week. And then it shows we've got X amount of remaining tasks with our slated completion date. So this really allowed us to feel a lot more confident when it comes to knowing whether or not we're on schedule or off schedule, because we can take like, what is the pace of completion that we've established thus far for our time using these Monday boards? And if we sustain that, when do we think we'll be done? Again, it's not a perfect science, but it gets us a little bit closer than just kind of shooting in the dark from those percentages. And then I would say that the reporting challenges and the user experience that we've described from different users has been solved by the fact that this is like a very beautiful product from something that I just typed into an AI tool. Can you make this update? And it just built this beautiful experience for me. I mean, it's super easy to use. I can modify it in any way that I want to make the user experience better, which I honestly think is another really cool thing about it is that, and I'm definitely an enthusiast. If you can't tell, I think that this has solved a lot of my problems. So I'm like very closely knit with the Vibe right now, but it makes my job a lot easier. So, you know, our users can look and see, okay, well, what are our category delays? What's causing the majority of our problems? And then they can tune in specifically to what are the biggest components of our projects that are contributing to delays. And now we can make changes and iterations moving forward. And we've created these metrics now where we're really able to improve our progress, not just from the perspective of accomplishing goals, but we're able to decrease the time it takes to accomplish those goals because now we're able to see what specifically caused the delays. I'm kind of just sifting through all of these. I think that takes me to my last problem that we wanted to solve, which was identifying what some of the bottlenecks were that were contributing to our delays, and then looking at our project metrics, which allows us to see like what are the delays that are contributing and maybe who are the resources that are getting really tied up and where are we hitting halts in progress that if we had jumped on them a little bit sooner because we had this reporting where we could jump in sooner, maybe we could have kept things on track. So I think that this Vibe really helps solve a number of our problems. And I would say that every day we're thinking of a new problem for it to solve. And then we're adding it in the chat and it's solving that one, which is really cool.
Wow, this is really impressive. And this you built all using Monday Vibe with like using everyday language. I'm assuming you're not a coder and you don't know any coding language.
No, I do not. I wish I knew coding language, but I absolutely don't. I would say that, yeah, I did the whole thing within Vibe, and it sometimes confuses itself, right? Like there are times where Vibe struggles to work through a problem or to solve it for you. But I found that if you keep pressing Vibe eventually develops it for you. So it'll come up with a new way. So I just kept asking questions and it will solve it for me. I will say there were a couple times where I used ChatGPT to come up with ideas, like come up with some new metrics for me, but you can very easily do that within Vibe itself, right? Like you can ask it, hey, what are some metrics that I can use for my project board? And these are the problems we're having. And it'll throw out all these ideas and then it'll say, do you want me to start building it for you? And it's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. It'll make my life easier. So I think that's great.
Yeah. And what's this AI insights that you have here, the purple button?
So I added this and we haven't played around with this too much. The goal of this AI insights, and see, it's not working just yet. So I don't know if you want me to include this or not.
Yeah, tell me what your plan is. I'm sure we'll figure it out soon.
For this at some point, I still need to do just a little bit more prodding with Vibe, is that I would love for this to be able to have, some sort of a readiness score based upon like where they're at in the process. I think if I could create a metric of my own, which is becoming easier with AI than it was ever before, of like, let's give it a grade. Everyone knows what grades are, right? Like everyone knows if it's an A, we're ready to go, we're on track. Like that just gives me a little bit more pull with our, executive team to be able to jump in and help solve problems when they've got a million things coming at them. If they can just look at it and see a percentage or like a score, then they know where they need to apply pressure and where they can wait.
Right. Okay. And I'm seeing a few things that I want to point out about what you built here. Number one, and I think this is one of the most amazing things about Vibe, is that you're not limited to the Monday structure, meaning like this doesn't look like any Monday board I've ever seen. The dashboards, the way that you have, the different tabs on top, like it's designed how you want to show you the exact information that you want. And that's something that I think is really powerful here, that like you're no longer limited to this structure to be within Monday because you have the data there. You're just pulling the data to view it however you want. Like that's the first thing that I want to point out for anyone who feels, I guess, limited by the way Monday's set up. Like here, you don't need to be limited by that. The other thing that I'm guessing based on this is that this is useful for a lot of different people on your team. Like on the one level, like the executive team can come and see the dashboards that they want, but then also you have the tasks, which honestly looks like a really easy way to manage tasks, maybe even easier than a standard task board within Monday, because it's exactly what you want. So like, I'm assuming like a lot of different people on your team, like this became your standard for using Monday. Like you're no longer using the typical boards, you're using this now.
It's made jumping in quickly for our teammates so much easier because they have a very usable, user-friendly interface. And then they just ask a question of, hey, I want to be able to edit in here, or I want to be able to modify this. And they know that they can make those, that I can make the modifications within Vibe for them. And so then it becomes even more usable because now they're helping to create it. And they're bought in. They've helped develop the tool themselves too, which is also a really fun part of Vibe as well. Because the boards, we did struggle a lot with the boards. I mean, they're great. I love jumping in and using them, but this saves our teammates from scrolling down the long list. And even with the filters, I feel like this is just quicker. We can just send them a link to this and they jump in and we make it pretty.
It's much more focused for what they need to see.
That's right.
Yeah, and it kind of cuts out all the noise of everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Any tips that you have for anyone that's looking to build out a Monday Vibe for their company?
I would say that if you're running into an area within Monday that you're struggling to implement, that adoption is becoming a problem, that's like a perfect use case for Monday Vibe that just transfers really well into this world where you can now create your own visually appealing world of whatever you want it to be. And I think I would say to just allow some flexibility with adoption. It's an iterative process. You don't just like snap your fingers and it's live and it's ready to go. Like it's going to take some tweaking and some fine tuning. And I think just allow it to be that. And you'll be pleasantly surprised that if you continue to iterate and refine, that users really, really like it. And I think it's worth the process itself because it saved us a lot of time. I think moving ahead, it's going to save us a lot of time. So I think it's worth it.
Right. Okay. Chelsea, thank you so much for taking the time to share this use case with us. And I'm excited to see how this develops over time. And for everyone watching this video, I hope that this is an inspiration to show you that you can build a Vibe yourself to solve the real problems that you're facing with Monday in the setup. And you can use Vibe really on your own. And if you're interested, I will link a video above to an interview that I did with Amichai, who actually is the creator of Monday Vibe. So if you want to learn more about how it was created, why it was created, and everything behind it, then check out the next video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and remember to subscribe to receive tips and tricks on how to use Monday.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.